There we go. Okay, we're broadcasting. So this is Team 2's STE number 3. And I'm Sarah. We have Shelby.
Shelby.
Yeah, and Chelsea is having internet issues, so our invites are going through, but she's not able to connect to chat. And this is the only time we can do this as it's finals week, so she is gonna contact Professor Moravec and get something figured out. So unfortunately, we don't have Chelsea, but we tried. Okay. So for our project, we went to Safe Haven, which is a component of Freedom for Youth. And Freedom for Youth, a little history on this organization. They have the goal of helping end homelessness in the Riverbend neighborhood, which is one of the poorest neighborhoods in Des Moines, at 40.1% of residents living below the poverty level, a population of just over 1,200 people. So this is like one of the poorest neighborhoods in Des Moines, or even the state of Iowa. And so this organization for Freedom for Youth in the Riverbend neighborhood, and they want to encourage kids to stay in school and develop employment skills. So they opened their Promise House shelter for young homeless men in 2003. And then Freedom for Youth, their 6-acre campus that they're on currently on Hickman, opened up in 2006, and it's got a bunch of workshops and a coffee roasting area, and they're actually opening at the end of the summer right next door on Hickman a coffee house, so you can actually go get like lattes and coffee beverages, not just brewed coffee and coffee beans. And then Safe Haven House, where we work for homeless young women 18 to 22, opened in 2009. And then, yep, like we said, the coffee house will open later at the end of this year, hopefully. So their mission at Freedom for Youth, not necessarily Safe Haven, but just the overarching mission. Freedom for Youth Ministries empowers youth across Iowa through the love of Jesus Christ, break bondages, discover God-given talents, and lead transformed lives. Yeah, so some of the social issues that this organization would deal with. Health disparities is going to be a big one because it's such a poor neighborhood. So people don't have really equal access to healthcare that other residents of Des Moines do. So they aren't a healthcare organization, but they address this by serving meals after school. With the Safe Haven House for young women and the Promise House for young men, they provide shelter for homeless youth. They help lower socioeconomic class people, which we know are a greater risk for health disparities. And this being the poorest neighborhood in Des Moines, the Riverbend area, that's going to be really big with this organization. They're trying to help people that are either homeless or going to be lower on the socioeconomic status. So with the socioeconomic status, they're trying to help decrease the unemployment rate by providing classes and encouraging kids to stay in school and get their education. And then also the meals and stuff like that, that kind of support is going to be, and even the spirit support is going to be helpful for the youth that they see at the house. Yeah, so I guess Shelby will go into a little bit what we specifically did as a project for Safe Haven.
Right, yeah, so the nature of our project, well, when we first got to Safe Haven, we kind of had a different plan on how things were going to go. They were actually in the midst of completely redoing their program, and so that kind of changed our objectives of what we were going to accomplish at Safe Haven. They had one resident starting off, but she discontinued the program the first week that we served there, so we had to kind of basically talk with our CP and determine what we could do that would help Safe Haven get their program up and running. So we ended up doing, we started doing inventory for all their main areas, which was like the kitchen, making sure that they had basically everything that they needed to house the residents that they were going to have in their future program. After we did that, we typed up a spreadsheet of everything that we inventoried, and they can take a look at it. We sent it to our CP, and they were able to take a look at it and determine if there's things they needed to add or they have too much of and whatnot. Aside from the kitchen, they also have a storage area downstairs, and that was another area where they have all their toiletries and paper items and all that downstairs. They also have like a little area where when residents come in, they have basically they get their own little cubby of things that they'll need, like their toiletries, a towel, and they even have some clothes. It's kind of, they called it their shopping area for the residents because some come in without anything at all. So in our PowerPoint, I kind of included those areas. We, after that, we basically focused on getting the program back on their feet. So another thing that they needed us to do was to create a cleaning schedule and a cleaning manual for their residents, because some that come in, it's not really second nature to just know what to do and how to clean things. So I also included in our PowerPoint the parts of our cleaning manual that we revised for Safe Haven. We added the definitions of how to, of dusting, sweeping, etc., to just basically help the residents understand what's needed of them, where to clean, what to clean, how to clean it, because like I said, some of these residents were homeless and they've never cleaned something before. So that was really something that they appreciated us doing, because they didn't have the time, because their staff was in the midst of changing as well. So we did that for them. I believe that our whole project went well, although it wasn't our main or original plan. I believe that we were able to get everything organized for their future residents and make it easier on all the staff that they have working to revise their program. They were very appreciative, and that made us feel a lot like we accomplished a lot for them. And we just made the transition process of the program much easier for all those involved with Safe Haven. So yeah, that's basically how a gist of our project and how it went. And I believe it was very successful, and we covered most everything. And their plan that they set for us every time we'd go in, we basically finished all of those. So yeah.
Awesome. So that was the nature of the project and the synopsis of how it went that Shelby just ran through. So then if we would go into directions for future work with Safe Haven in particular, it's a little hard because you never know how many residents are going to be there, but they are trying to revamp the program, looking at the requirements for residents that are there. So it might look a little different in the future, hopefully. So I think that first of all, they would have to look for consider allowing residents above the age of 22 in the shelter. Since it is a shelter for disadvantaged females, I think that's important. And there are places for like say, pregnant females to go. I don't think Safe Haven gets very many pregnant females or females with children, but there are still a lot of homeless youth that are going to be more like in the 24, 25 range, that I think would still do well at Safe Haven, and not be too old to be like causing issues or whatever, as long as they're compliant with whatever requirements the program comes up with for this revamped program. Another thing I think they need to definitely do, all of us agreed and talked about several instances, is market themselves better so that people can tap into it as a resource. I don't think, like, they have no residents right now, and they had one resident and she moved out, and there's definitely homeless youth in Des Moines. You know, like, you go out to Grace Lake, you go out to campsites, you go around, and there's definitely homeless youth there. And sometimes the shelters are full, or they're on a 90-day cycle and they can't get in. And so as long as they're compliant with the spiritual aspects at Safe Haven, and they're sober, they should be able to stay there. As far as I know, with the current regulation, they might be tweaking it a little bit to add some stuff in. But it's a really great resource to have, and it provides employment skills, especially more so with this coffee house opening up. They'll have somewhere not only to learn, but currently they're taking outside places to do their internship or their apprenticeship experience. They'll be able to do that on the campus before they get sent out to another location. So they'll actually have some applicable work skills to put on their resume, which is huge. So that's a really important aspect for future work with these guys, knowing that they're going to go one step further with their employment skills and not only get them an internship somewhere, but have something put on the resume on campus at the coffee house before they actually get sent out to another location to work. And then Natalie, the resident, did mention that she thought that there needed to be more socialization in between the two houses. So there maybe could be some structured something future volunteers do that kind of like a college campus, like there's intramurals and stuff set up, some socialization in between the men's and women's houses, some fun activities, some kind of lifelong skills they could do, like some physical activities. Like they had a beach volleyball night, you could do beach volleyball night, or you could do, you know, like a board game night or something like that. It doesn't even have to be like once a week. Maybe they could do something once a month between the houses. And then I think the final thing that would be really nice for future volunteers to work with is the residents' support system and support network once they leave Safe Haven. Especially right now, since they're kind of going straight from brewing the Freedom Blend coffee to working with an outside employer. That's kind of a culture shock. A support system would be nice, like a mentor or case manager that they could check in with. And maybe that person could be a volunteer if it's for the course of the 16-week course, and you can figure out who's gonna step in next to keep in touch with that former resident. I think the support system is huge when they actually get out into the employment world, especially if they've never been employed before, and to have that support so that they'll maintain a steady job once they're not in the house anymore.
I wanted to add too, I think the biggest thing in like what AMRCP, she added, a biggest thing was too with volunteers that the residents felt like more of a project and an experiment rather than, you know, building a friendship and building that social connection, which I think is vital in their process of going out into the community and everything, that they need more people volunteering that aren't going to look at them as just a project or experiment or whatever, and actually build a relationship with them, teach them those social skills that they're going to need for the real world. And I think that's one of the biggest things that a resident could take away from staying at Safe Haven is that social connection, because many of them may not have that, especially with people of their own age. And I think that's one of the really big things that future volunteers could really take into consideration when volunteering at Safe Haven.
That is huge. I think you do do it as a volunteer project. You want to have a start, a midpoint, and finish, and know that this is what you accomplished. But I think with Safe Haven, like you said in particular, especially because we are peers from the same age, I don't even want to say role modeling really, but it could be positive socialization, and that could be the whole volunteer experience, which is normally, it's what we did in our initial proposal, like you discussed. It was socialization time with some like manual labor on the side to help fix up the house. But the resident left, so we weren't able to continue with that. But that was a big part of our initial proposal, just like, hey, she could use some positive role modeling and socialization, and she doesn't know how to talk to new people and make friends. And she would like someone to discuss, you know, her job with, and like how to meet new friends in Des Moines, and just to have us as friends and to maybe meet some friends in the boys' house. So I agree that just maybe, you know, cooking a meal or playing volleyball or doing something that the resident wants to do and not planning it for them,
right,
would be beneficial as a future volunteer experience as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
So then let's go into what I learned about servant leadership through this course and through the project at Safe Haven. What's really important to me as a volunteer is that the organization is well planned, well organized, and efficient. And I think that's a necessity if you're looking for people to volunteer their time. And I know we did this for a course, but I felt like they did overall. Like we had good contact people with Jackie and Am at this organization. Maybe there was a little bit got lost in the middle between the two of them, but I felt like it was really good. They're really receptive to having volunteers at Freedom for Youth. But then at the same time, as a volunteer, you have to accept that there's some things that are outside of your control. Like we couldn't help that the resident left, and we had to throw out our whole, project proposal completely. And then there's just going to be always factors outside of your control that you got to roll with the punches. But to me, if I was looking for volunteers in the future for an organization or for like a medical mission or something like that, I think it's super key and super vital that you're well organized. I think the best example I've seen for this in Des Moines, I don't know if anyone did their project here for this class, but Joppa. Joppa works with homeless, like not just homeless youth, homeless population in Des Moines. And they are so well organized on their Sunday runs that I don't think they'll ever be lacking for volunteers because it just is such a well-oiled machine. Yeah, the cart's really stocked. Their volunteer coordinator is fantastic. She'll do stuff herself if it doesn't get done in the day or if it doesn't get taken care of. They're just such a well-oiled machine. I think that would be a really beneficial spot for people in the future to provide their hours. So that's how I felt about that. And overall, for both of them, I think homelessness is a huge issue in Des Moines, whether people address it as much as they should or not, and whether it's Freedom for Youth or whether it's Joppa or whether it's the homeless shelter down on Mulberry there. Those would all be really, really great for people to spend their time and understand the social awareness and then just, work one-on-one with people and get to know them and listen to their stories. And, I know we call it servant leadership a lot, but I think a lot of it is listening and being a peer instead of trying to lead people, if you will.
Right.
But yeah, that's mostly what I learned from this experience.
Sure, that's great. And I think this course, when I first signed up for it, I didn't really know what to expect. I knew that there was volunteer hours involved, but I didn't really know what it was really going to consist of. And from this course, what I got from it is that being a servant leader is not just about volunteering. It's about trying to make it a difference on your community and make an impact on one organization or another and going from there. It's also like being a helping hand to those that need it most, being there for people that maybe not be in the same position that you are right now and just being there to lift them up through their hard times. I also think that it's about speaking up for what you really believe in and not really following what's trending in the media or whatever. Just you have to stick with what you believe in and encourage others to follow in your footsteps in a positive way. And basically being a servant leader is just making the world a better place and encouraging others to be that way as well. And I think also with volunteering with Safe Haven, yes, our objectives kind of got jumbled up and completely changed, but I think that showed that no matter where, they're going to need help in some way or another. If it's not with our original plan, there was still help that they needed us to do. So I think that's another good thing for people to always remember is that you might be like, oh, someone else will do it. They don't need my help. But there's always something that could be done, and there's always tasks that can be helped with, whether it's Safe Haven or other organizations in the community. They will use your help if you're willing, and you're making an impact just by giving them your time. And they are very appreciative, and I'm sure most places aren't going to turn you away because you're just volunteering and helping them out with what they need to accomplish their goals as well. So, yeah.
I agree. And I would add that we, one last thought, we had to be very self-motivated in this project since the volunteer coordinator was there the first day and then would just kind of step in the rest of the shifts. And it wasn't like there was someone looking over our shoulder, but it was nice to know that we were just self-directed, self-motivated. We got a big task done for them every time we went. and we like tried to document, but it felt good to know that we started and finished a project just like by self-motivation, and that's realistically what you're gonna have to do if you volunteer outside of a class or something that's required. So that was a good feeling.
Right, I agree.
All right. Anything else we want to add about our servant leader project, Shelby?
No, I think I was just really pleased with how everything went. I enjoyed my group of girls that I worked with, and I think we worked really well as a team, and we communicated very well, and Am was very good, our CP. She was very fast at responding to emails and getting us what we need, and
That was fantastic.
it worked out really well. So
Cool. Awesome. I agree. Well, we're going to end the broadcast then, and you can look for more in our paper, I guess. All right. Bye.
all right.